the moment the royal vessel drifted into the outer orbit of the blue and white planet. The people inside sensed a shift in their fate. The young princess stood near the transparent wall of the viewing deck, her long silver cloak trailing softly behind her. She had traveled across star paths since childhood, yet this world felt different. Its oceans reflected sunlight like polished gems, and its mountains rose in shapes she had never seen. She felt a strange stillness, almost as if the planet was watching her with calm confidence. She had been sent as an observer for diplomatic talks, a role she accepted with steady resolve. For generations, her people had looked upon humans as a rising civilization, unpredictable but full of spirit. Her council had debated endlessly about whether humans would join the Galactic Alliance or challenge it. She had prepared herself for discussions, ceremonies, and long speeches. She never imagined that her visit would transform her life in ways she could not predict. The humans greeted the delegation with open hands and peaceful smiles. The meeting hall was set along a bright meadow, its architecture shaped by both simplicity and beauty. Curved windows welcomed sunlight, and gentle wind carried the scent of blooming grass. The princess watched as her advisors exchanged greetings with human representatives. She noticed that humans maintained eye contact with warmth, something she found refreshing. Many species avoided direct gazes, believing it too intimate, but humans seemed to see it as a gesture of trust. Then she met him. His name was Devon, a young strategist chosen to speak for his planet. He greeted her calmly, his tone respectful, yet sincere. His clothing was simple, yet he carried himself with assurance. She sensed no arrogance in him, only a grounded confidence. When their eyes met, she felt a curious spark, not romantic, but a recognition that he was someone who would affect her journey. Their discussions began with topics of cooperation, technology exchange, and peaceful exploration. Devon spoke about how humanity learned through hardship and curiosity. He explained how humans valued freedom and responsibility. He described their desire to stand as equals among the stars. The princess felt admiration for his clarity. He did not exaggerate or use complex phrases. He chose simple words that carried weight. Over the next few days, the delegation toured human cities. They visited floating farms, ocean research centers, and vast knowledge hubs. Humans celebrated creativity in all things, from engineering to art. The princess watched children learning to code machines while planting trees with their elders. It touched her in ways she did not expect. Her own world valued precision and order, but humans embraced both reason and emotion. During one visit, the princess and Devon stayed behind the group to observe a garden shaped like a spiral galaxy. Small streams moved between smooth stones, creating a gentle sound. Devon explained that the garden symbolized harmony between vast space and everyday life. She listened quietly and asked him why humans cared so deeply about meaning in simple things. He smiled and said that meaning helped them grow. She found the answer honest and thought-provoking. As days passed, the princess sensed that the council members were pleased with the progress of the talks. The potential for unity grew stronger. Yet she also noticed something else. Human representatives watched Devon with respect, but there was also a hint of curiosity when he spoke to her. Her advisors seemed unusually attentive whenever she engaged in conversation with him. She was not naive. She understood when something was unfolding beneath the surface. One evening, as the last rays of sunlight painted orange streaks across the sky, Devon led her to a quiet balcony overlooking a calm river. They stood beside each other in thoughtful silence. She asked him why he brought her there. He answered that there was something important the Alliance wished to propose. Before he continued, he hesitated for the first time since they met. She looked at him closely. Humans usually showed their emotions openly, but this was different. There was weight behind his expression. He took a breath and said that the Council of Humans and her own advisor group had been discussing a unique path to solidify peace between the two civilizations. It was an old tradition practiced by various species across the galaxy. A symbolic union formed not for romance, but for unity between worlds. Her people knew of such traditions, though they rarely used them. She waited patiently for him to finish. Then he said that both sides believed the greatest symbol of trust would be a bond between their chosen representatives, a ceremonial union between her and him, a gesture that would show the galaxy that humans and her species stood together. For a moment, the princess remained perfectly still. She processed his words with calm courtesy, but inside her mind spiraled with surprise. When she finally spoke, her voice carried a quiet breath of disbelief. She stared at him and said in shock that he was taking her as his bride. Devin met her gaze steadily. He explained that it was not a demand, but a proposal crafted by both councils. It represented cooperation, shared growth, and mutual respect. He added that he would never force such a decision, and that her choice mattered more than any treaty. Her heart settled slightly at his sincere tone. She turned her face toward the river and let the soft wind cool her thoughts. She was raised with duty, but she was also taught to value autonomy. She asked him why he agreed to such a proposal. He answered with simple honesty. He said that humans believed in standing by those who shaped their future. He respected her wisdom, admired her calm nature, and believed they could guide their worlds toward peace together. His voice revealed no selfish desire. Only purpose. The princess folded her hands and thought deeply. Her people valued alliances built on trust, not pressure. She considered what her world needed. The galaxy was changing. Nations rose and fell. Peace was fragile. If a symbolic union could prevent mistrust between species, perhaps it was not a burden, but a gift. Yet she also wondered about her life, her choices, and her purpose. Later that night, she spoke privately with her council. They explained that the proposal aligned with long-term goals. They believed humans would become a powerful presence in the galaxy. A bond through her would strengthen relations for generations. They emphasized that she had the full right to decide. She appreciated their respect, even though she sensed they quietly hoped she would agree. When she returned to her chamber, she gazed at the stars through the transparent wall. She remembered her home world, its shimmering skies and crystal forests. She missed its peace, but she also saw a possible future where peace extended across stars. She asked herself whether she trusted Devin. She recalled his quiet strength, his steady voice, and his honesty. She realized that trust grew naturally between them. That mattered more than anything. The next day, she met Devin at the river garden. He stood waiting, hands calmly folded behind his back. She approached him with slow, deliberate steps. He watched her with respectful patience. She told him that she had considered everything carefully. She understood the symbolism of such a union. She understood the responsibility. She also understood the hope that came with it. She told him she accepted. For a moment, Devin looked stunned, though he hid it quickly with a grateful smile. He bowed his head, thanking her for her trust. She felt warmth spread through her chest. Not romantic, but meaningful. The kind of warmth that came from choosing a path bigger than oneself. Preparations began swiftly. Human architects and her people's artisans worked together to create a ceremonial hall that reflected both cultures. It was built on a peaceful hill, overlooking a valley of soft green trees. The structure blended human woodwork with her people's luminous crystals. Light moved gently across the walls, creating patterns that resembled the flow of time. As the day approached, visitors from many worlds gathered. Some came out of curiosity. Others came out of admiration. This event would mark a turning point in galactic history. Humans, a species once considered young and unpredictable, stood now as partners in unity. Her people, known for discipline and tradition, embraced a future shaped through cooperation and courage. On the morning of the ceremony, the princess stood before a mirror in her guest chamber. Her ceremonial attire shimmered softly, designed jointly by both cultures. It held the calm colors of her home and the grounded tones of Earth. She touched the fabric lightly. She wondered how her life would change from that moment onward. Yet she felt calm. She had chosen this path with clarity. Devin met her at the entrance of the hall. He wore traditional human formal attire, simple yet elegant. He offered his hand respectfully. She placed her hand in his with measured grace. Together, they walked inside. The hall glowed with gentle light. Representatives from many species stood in quiet appreciation. The air felt steady and bright. The officiator welcomed them and spoke of unity, courage, and shared futures. When the moment came, the princess and Devin exchanged vows crafted by both cultures. These vows spoke of peace, partnership, and cooperation. There was no mention of ownership or dominance, only mutual respect. When the vows ended, the hall filled with warm applause. The princess looked at Devin. He smiled softly, not triumphant, but grateful. She returned the smile. Something between them shifted. It was not sudden affection. Instead, it was the birth of a calm understanding that their journey together would be built on trust. After the seer,